thank you for this opportunity that, I have. Anytime I have an opportunity like this, I jump right in because the mission that I have is to inspire, to educate, and to empower people to love food. We all love to eat, right? So thank you, Laura, for inviting me. And I am going to share my mom heart. The story is, as a mom, you will see why I am doing what I'm doing. So this is my family. I have 4 boys. My twins and Matthew are all at A&M. And then I have Ethan, he's a junior in high school. Before being a stay-at-home mom or a domestic engineer, I was a product of UISD. I was a teacher at Tomas Sanchez. I taught for 6 years, and then I just decided not to teach because I was trying to have a family. And so when I stopped teaching, that's when I started with my family. And today, I am empowered by fruits and vegetables. And I will tell you my story as I go along, but I grow my own plants. As you can see here, this is my tower garden, which I am trying to get them into the school districts. Some of my friends have them in San Antonio and up north in Austin. And it's a pretty neat little, aeroponics system where kids are learning to grow their own food. And so that's what I have at home. As you can see, my beautiful greens. And so that's what I do now. So my story begins when these are my sisters. I am the oldest of 5 girls. And before, when I was younger, we lost our mom to breast cancer. My mom was 49. And we didn't think that it was going to affect us as much as it did when she passed away, but it did. So then several years, forward, my sister Sonia was a counselor at Alexander High School, and some of you or most of you know her. She was my best friend. Her and I, we were so close. And so it really hit home. When she was diagnosed with ovarian cancer 6 months later, my younger sister Gloria, she was in her 30s. She was also diagnosed with breast cancer. So both of them were going through chemotherapy at MD Anderson at the same time, and it was very hard. For me, especially as a mom of 4 boys, I had tried so hard to have a family, and here I was thinking, okay, am I next? Am I gonna be here for my kids? And so it was just very hard for the rest of us. We had to go in for testing, DNA, everything. We went to San Antonio. My sister Ronnie, Adriana, and I went and got some testings done to see we carried my mom's and my sister's genes. So that was another thing, I was very fearful. I couldn't sleep. I was very worried. I would be just crying. Fear took over me, and I would pray and I would say, why? Why so much disease? Why so much cancer? I just didn't understand. So we went to the doctor, and my sister Ronnie and I, they gave us the report. We did not carry the gene. My sister Adriana did. So, there we go again. We had to go through some, surgeries. And the doctor told us, even though you all don't carry the gene, it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that you all are not in the same pool as other women. You still have to get tested for mammograms, you have to do all these tests, but you do not carry the gene. And there's options you all can do. So I came home and I was like, okay, what's next? So I have learned that we all know that Americans aren't very healthy. Today we see a lot of disease. And 1 in 3 people lives with some form of heart disease. And 1 in 3 women and 1 in 2 men will have cancer in their lifetime. That was us. 1 in 3 people will develop diabetes by the year 2050, which we're not that far from. And 116 million people live with some type of chronic disease. So after doing all this research, I was like, okay. And so I kept doing my research, and this is what really, opened my eyes, because I learned that at the age of 12, kids are already forming hardening of their arteries. At the time, my twins were 12 years old. So I said, okay, that's my twins. My twins are 12. And so I started just learning more and more. We see a lot of obesity in kids. And, we see a lot of kids now that they're developing diabetes in their lifetime. When I was in elementary, I don't remember having friends going to the nurses and getting, those shots or taking any medication. More than 25% of children are now taking prescription drugs on a regular basis. And the American Academy of Pediatrics now recommends children as young as 8 years old take some kind of medication to lower their cholesterol. That's alarming. And so, as a teacher, I'm a visual learner. I started doing this for my kids, for my family, I didn't know I was going to be doing this in front of people, My goal was to get my family on board. And so I told my kids, when we buy a new car, what do we do to it? And they started telling me, we take care of it. We take it, for oil changes. We put the best gasoline. We wash it every day, and we make sure we don't park it where they're going to, ding our doors. And I told my kids the same thing with our body. We need to make good food choices. We need to drink enough water, rest. We need to exercise. As I, when we were growing up, I don't remember my parents telling me, fruits and vegetables, whole foods are important for you. We struggled to buy groceries. My parents worked real hard, and we just grew up on a diet of, I remember very clearly, we would buy barbacoa, and we would make enchiladas, and we would make barbecues every Sunday, and tamales and menudo. I don't remember whole greens, So I started telling my kids about this, and it was not easy. I remember as a teacher, we used to have the pyramid. Remember, 5 to 7 servings? Now it's the plate, We need 7 to 13 servings of fruits and vegetables every day. And if you have athletes at home, they need double of that. And so I started cleaning my pantry. My kids were very upset. They would say, Mom, we're kids. Why are you taking away all these snacks? And, I used to buy them Pop-Tarts and donuts. And, every time they would make honor roll, A honor roll, I would run to Krispy Kremes, because I had one son, my youngest, loved donuts. And so when he was in 2nd grade, the teacher called me, and she would say, your son is crying. He always is crying because he has headaches. And it's true at home. He would just cry in the middle of the night, pulling his hair and yelling. It's not like, oh, Mom, I have a headache. No, it was intense. He would scream, and he couldn't stand his head. And it got to the point where I told my husband, maybe he has a tumor. We need to take him first. So we took him for a CAT scan, and I went to San Antonio, and the doctor sat me down, and he started telling me, okay, what does he eat? Tell me everything he eats. And I started telling him Pop-Tarts, donuts. I started going down the line, Fruit Loops. And he goes, that's his problem. I go, there's too much sugar in his body. And he goes, you need to cut that off. So I came home, started cleaning my pantry, taking out everything. We started cutting. I'm not telling you we're a perfect family. Yes, we go to parties, we have a little piece of cake, but not like before, So I started telling my kids, it's very important that you eat healthier. Add more greens, add more fruits and vegetables. And they would say, well, why? Why is that important? And I told them, and we need antioxidants. Phytonutrients come out of fruits and vegetables. That's what our cells, that's how we get healthy cells. And he goes, okay. So we started, this journey. And I started telling them that just like when we cut an apple, it starts turning brown. We just cut those bananas, they're turning black. That's oxidation, I told them. And oxidation, how do you know you have oxidation? By the end of the day, maybe by midday, you're already starting to feel tired. You have memory loss or brain fog. You know, we have joint pain. And so where do we go to? Our Cokes, right? So right now I'm going to show you something about the Cokes. So I started getting joint pain to my knees and my fingers 9 years ago. And I would get out of bed and I couldn't even get out of bed. And I would tell my husband my fingers hurt. I had to just stretch them, and I thought it's because I just woken up. But no, he says, you're probably getting arthritis. And I go, no, I'm too young. You know, I don't accept that. And so, you know, I didn't understand until I started doing this. It was oxidation to my bones. You know, I was not feeding my body what it needed to. We start getting wrinkles faster. We start getting grays. I heard some of you talking about gray hair.
I've had it since my 20s.
So we get oxidation stress not only when we even get it when we're asleep, even when we're exercising. And what does it mean to get oxidative stress to all parts of the organs? I'm just going to go quickly over two. For the immune system, it means having chronic inflammations like autoimmune disorders. We hear about that a lot, IBD and MS and cancers. Let's take, for example, the brain. What does that mean? Well, we start getting Alzheimer's, autism, migraine headaches, trauma, cancer. That's all oxidation stress. And so, you know, we have oxidation going around in all parts of the body. So we need to eat more fruits and vegetables. We just can't, we don't, and we won't. It's hard. I tried it. You know, I went and I bought, you know, and 7 to 13 servings, it's expensive. And what happens to your fruits and vegetables if you don't eat them? Within the second day, the strawberries start turning black. So back then, you know, even my grandparents, you know, they cook really healthy in the kitchen. You know, we get together and they take out all these salads and all these plates. And today, this is what our diets look like. You know, that's what my kids' diets look like until I started making changes. You know, that's my son right there. He was like, really, Mom, an apple? I prefer a donut. Everything, you know, we see, it's supersized. My kids would say, Mom, can you supersize my fries? And they don't like asking me to go and get them Chick-fil-A because I don't supersize. And instead of fries, I take them fruit cups, and they get mad. So what do? They call their dad. And their dad would supersize, and their dad was their favorite until I talked to my husband. I said, we need to be in this together, you know? So we're making a little bit of changes. We still go to Chick-fil-A, you know, we still buy fries, but we've cut down. So fast food is just the easy way to go, right? So, do you know how many pounds of sugar an American child eats a week? Anybody can guess?
20.
No. It's 5 pounds of sugar a week. This is 4 pounds. So I put this on the table. I was just experimenting with my kids, and I put their spoons, and I said, okay, guys, this is what I'm gonna do. And I said, because they would ask for all these things, right? Fruit Loops, why did you take them out? We haven't had Fruit Loops in 9 years. It was a struggle, but we got there. And I said, okay, well, why don't you eat this whole bag by the end of the week? And they were like, gross, Mom. I go, that's what you're eating with all the hidden foods. 5 pounds a week is a lot. That's 20 pounds a month. Do you know how many teaspoons of sugar are in a Pepsi drink? Can anybody guess? Well, not that much, but there's 18.
Oh, wow.
I was a Coke drinker. And sometimes, okay, some of you might just drink one, but there's people that drink 2 and 3 a day. So can you imagine all the sugar that's going into your body? So I would show my kids that. Can you all guess how much sugar is in a Gatorade? This is a popular drink.
Yes.
This is 14 teaspoons of sugar. I would tell my kids, might as well just get a glass of water, put sugar, and then add food coloring. And they were like, so it was a struggle with my kids because they would be upset because of what I was doing. And they would just say, Mom, we're kids. And I said, as long as I'm here, I'm going to teach you. After I'm gone, if you want to do whatever you want with your family, but by then I know that they're going to, know better. And then I like to I didn't just pick on this one, I just picked on whatever, but it's very important to read labels. Because look, in this little thingy of yogurt, there's 7 teaspoons of sugar in here. So for every bite you're taking, you're just taking a teaspoon of sugar. Just think like that. That's how I had to reprogram my brain, and now I haven't had Cokes.
That's not bad.
Well, there are some that have less sugar than others, but it's very important to read labels.
Sugar turns to fat in your body if you're not using it. So.
Yes. So this is where I started.
26 grams.
3 years ago, I started introducing ways to put in health, into our diets. And I started learning from my friends in San Antonio and Austin. They were doing these really neat events, and some of you have heard of them, but I have been going out to the community, and my events are for free. I don't charge, because my mission is to inspire healthy living. Everywhere I go, if I make a difference in one person, one family, I've made, I come out a winner, And if I make a difference with one of you here, that's my goal. So some of the events, and this is where now I'm tapping into the schools to teach people, to take healthy back, and how we can do this, how we can promote it. Some of the events that I do are salads in a jar. And this is what it looks like. It's beautiful. We all bring in one ingredient, we set it out in a table, and we just build, on what people bring. I've gone into, dance groups. I've gone into doctors' offices. We have them at my home, at church. Another event is the freezer shake packs, which is what you all are doing today. And this is something similar to the salads in a jar, except these are with fruits and greens. And everybody brings one ingredient, and we just build our bags. And what is the purpose of this? The purpose is to have them in the freezer in the morning. It's easier for you to just take out a bag, dump it into the blender, and put your protein and put your base. I recommend plant-based milks only because I've gotten away from the dairy products. But it's really up to you what you want to put in there. And it's just so convenient. It's so easy for you as parents, because a lot of times you all don't have time to make breakfast for kids or even for yourselves. And so this is a quick way to just add nutrition to the body. Now, these are some of my ideas that I like. This is my grown kale from my tower garden. Oops. And this one is made with avocado and kale. This one is the frozen bags that we're making right now. And that one over there, with these bags that you're gonna build, you can always add in the morning, throw in some chia seeds, oats. You can add peanut butter, walnuts. There's just a lot to add. And I love to just say this, that my shake has been MD Anderson approved. They give it to their patients. You might have your own proteins, but I always like to mention mine. And if you all have any questions about it, we have a page and you can go there.
So yours is the Juice Plus?
Yes, yes.
And are you in our local stores? Are you online?
No, I'm directly with the company.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
okay.
We're not in the food stores, but the company has direct representatives.
Okay.
Another event are the oatmeals in jars. This one is also really neat because you have your breakfast on the go, or a quick snack, or even late night snack at night. And these cook overnight. You don't have to cook them, you eat them cold. At first I was like, I don't know, but now these are my favorite over the warm ones. And they're super, delicious. I just love the oatmeals in a jar.
What do you add to that?
Okay, we add the oats, and then we add the milk. I use almond milk. Yes, almond milk or rice milk, or There's coconut milk.
And it's always good to do the unsweetened.
Yes, because of the sugar again. Oh, I didn't mention that cancer cells feed off sugar. So the reason why I have been cutting down is because, the cancer, the history. We all have cancer in our lives. It's just a matter of turning on that switch or turning it off. So I'm doing my best. Am I saying that I'll never get cancer? I hope I don't, but it's not a guarantee. What I'm doing is that I'm preventing. I'd rather prevent than treat. So this is the oatmeals in a jar. And these are some of the other events, the oatmeals that I have hosted. I have my regular people coming through. I have some that just come once, then they come back again, they bring their friends. So it's just word of mouth, and it's been growing. So I like the mission that I'm in. And now with the schools, it's the other event, which is a popular one today that we've been tapping more on, are the Super Bowls. These are just, we bring in ingredients. Some are hot ingredients like grilled chicken. We add, black beans. You have the greens. You have the, edamame, or it's more of a variety than the salads in a jar. And these, you can saute them. You can eat them for dinner, or you can eat them cold. And the other event are the instant soups and jars that we also make. So these are just ideas of how we can eat better instead of going through a drive-through. And of course, 9 years ago, I always like to mention that I now bridge my gap with more fruits and vegetables. Again, if you have questions, you can always go to my page. I invite you to my page. Oh, and it is just plants from 30 fruits, vegetables, berries, and grains. They come in capsule or gummy form. And I like to invite you to my page because that's where I post recipes, healthy living tips, and my events that I host every, so often. I usually make them twice a month. And I like to close with this, I like this saying where it says, nutrition isn't just about eating, it's about learning to live. Food is not just calories, it's information. It talks to your DNA and it tells it what to do. Change your diet and change your life. So that is my presentation. I love the mission that I'm in, and I get excited to talk to people, and it's really up to us to change our healthy life. So that concludes our presentation. We are going, thank you. What we are going